Oh crap. Okay, so it takes a really long time to set up this tiny little space to record a good, higher than vlog quality video. But, the video needed to be made because I never made a follow-up to the Road to Ryzen build video that I did for my new computer. There's some reasons for that. If you remember from the previous video, I had an issue with the motherboard that I first got for it. The BIOS basically bricked it or completely killed it. I had to get a new one. And then I was all happy that it was up and running. And it was. It was up and running for a good week and a half, and it was great. Then I came in right after work to turn it on so it could install updates, and I come in a few minutes later. About 20 minutes later, I walk in and the computer's off. Not a big deal. It happens. It's a new build. Still kind of faulty BIOS. Something with the overclocking probably went wrong. So I press the power button. Nothing. I opened up the side of the case to see what was wrong. And to my horror, the Corsair H100 V2 popped off the water block and sprayed coolant all over my brand new parts.
All around me are familiar faces.
Nothing prepares you for something like that. No, I'm not that attached to material things. For those of you who don't know, all processors give off a lot of heat, especially high-end ones, and they usually have metal and fans to disperse the heat. Well, on higher-end PCs, they have this option now to literally use water to cool it, like a radiator in a car. So the liquid goes through across the processor and goes through a radiator, and fans blow the hot air away from the water in the radiator. Works great. But, well, let me just show you this. This is a reimagining of exactly what happened to my motherboard. Powerful stuff. Okay, it wasn't that bad, and fortunately the hard drives that had most of my actual data and projects on them were okay. I was still able to work on the 2 existing client projects I had by putting my old computer back together and Frankensteining. It was a mess. Unfortunately, the Asus Crosshair motherboard, my Ryzen 1700X, the 32GB of RAM, the M.2 solid state, were all, as far as I could tell, fried. I had no other motherboard to test them on. Fortunately, I reached out to Corsair, and they have a policy where, obviously, if it's under warranty, which I think has a 6-year warranty, a fairly decent one, you ship them all of your stuff, they test it all, and if they can prove it was damaged by the liquid cooler, they reimburse you or replace it with comparable parts. Well, I didn't want to wait any longer to get, you know, a steady workflow that I didn't have to stress about dying. So I told Corsair to hold off on sending me the shipping label because I wanted to get a 3rd motherboard because that one was still under warranty and test to make sure everything worked, right? So another few days later, I received this 3rd motherboard and tried to put everything back together. but I didn't have a liquid cooler. I didn't have any cooler for the processor. In hindsight, I probably could have tried powering it on and gotten the same result, but because the only stock cooler I had for my old AM3 platform didn't work, I had to drive up to Best Buy, buy a H100 cooler as a backup, hoping that I'll get everything sorted out in time to return it, and nothing powered on. It still didn't work. I'm done. I'm not doing this more. I'm not doing video. I'm not dealing with technology. I'm packing up and I'm moving to Alaska. I'm going to become a salmon fisherman. I'm done. So I finally sent out all the hardware to Corsair. They received it a weekish later, and 3-ish weeks later, they contacted me and said, hey, yeah, your stuff is dead. We'll send you a new cooler. We'll send you Corsair comparable RAM, and we'll give you the value of all of your stuff back. Cool. So, unable to shake the feeling that there was still some issues with this particular Asus motherboard and the BIOS bricking it and me having really bad luck with technology, I sprung for instead to replace it with the Gigabyte X370 Aorus K7 gaming motherboard. But hey, ding ding ding, this horrible process had gone on long enough for it to be the same time as the refresh of Ryzen RX 500 series, which is basically a refresh of last year's Polaris architecture. But I got this fantastic RX 580 along with the new motherboard, so when I built my computer for the 10 kajillionth time, my graphics would be updated as well. So the last thing to wait on was for Corsair to send me the replacement parts and the reimbursement check. When I finally got the hardware, which they sent me the wrong cooler, I bought this one, they sent me this one, but I didn't care. I was going to go along with the fact that I have terrible luck with liquid coolers, and instead jumped for the Hyper 212 Evo, which is one of the higher end air coolers. I was looking for a more complicated word than that. But rather than waiting for Newegg again, I drove down to Micro Center and bought that, the 1700X processor, and the solid state drive I needed. Built everything. It works amazingly. I'm happy. I've been so happy and content with it. I haven't really stressed about making this video, but I really wanted to tell the story because it was such a process. I felt like the unluckiest person in the world. But hey, don't sweat it. It's a very first world problem. I was able to get everything up and running in the end, and I'm loving it. I will say that even though it was an insanely frustrating process, it was worth it. With the amount of extra RAM, processing power, and graphics overhead I have, it's a lot easier to edit video. I can actually move to a 4K workflow now. So in 2,000 years when I can afford it, I may be upgrading my main camera to something like a Sony Alpha R2 or whatever is current then. But hey, now I can produce video, audio, play games, hypersonically, unequivocally, exponentialnessly better. Anyways, I just had to give out that quick update. I do want to do a lot more with my computer, like doing Let's Plays and stuff like that. There's some games that are being developed that are supposed to be out months ago or coming out soon that I don't know when they're coming out that I really want to play. I am gonna get Destiny, I know that. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video at all, if it made you smile, give that little like button a press. If you're not subscribed already, hey, please subscribe. If you are, thank you. Have a great day, night, life, or whatever.